G'day, ZiggyD here with the Marvel Heroes Guide. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at Spider-Man and giving you guys a quick leveling guide to the different skills you should be using and some ideas about the builds you can be using while you're leveling to give yourself the optimum possible efficiency. Also, I could probably give you guys some general leveling tips. So Spider-Man in general is a pretty agile hero. He seems to level quite quickly. He gets a 5% extra experience bonus from intelligence, which is always nice, but the main thing is that he has decent AoE capabilities, nowhere near as good as some heroes, but better than certain other ones. On top of that, he's also extremely mobile, which just being able to get around quicker, jump from mob pack to mob pack quicker, makes leveling, the whole leveling experience, a lot faster in general. So some general tips are that when you're leveling, you really want to be skipping any sort of single enemies you come across. So if you see like a single dot, or there's like one or two enemies there, it's not really worth taking the time to kill those guys. So that guy there is just going to slow you down in general. But if you've got a large group of this, you want to use whatever AoE capabilities you have to smash them down as quickly as possible, because that's where your real experience is going to come from. And then on top of that, you want to move around as quickly as possible so that you can... Why is my skill not working? I think I've not set up my skills properly since I respec. So you want to move around as quickly as possible so you can jump from quest to quest and progress as fast as possible, because I think that's one of the best ways that you can possibly level. So let's go ahead and fix up my skills. For some reason, even though they're on the skill bar, they aren't actually highlighted there. So let's try that again. So I'll now go over each of the different skills you can use while leveling and how you can sort of shift points into them as you level. So the first one is Spider Strike. Now you should be sinking as many points as you can into Spider Strike, as it's really going to increase your damage against single target, but also against very small packs of mobs. So Spider Strike and Sticky Strike function exactly the same. I'll go over Sticky Strike in the future a bit. But as you can see, it gives you a small AoE radius. So whenever I'm attacking you, if I can stack up 2 or 3 mobs on top of each other, I'll be dealing damage to each one of those. Now, if you're putting enough points into it, which you should be able to put as many points as you can into it for your level, until you can get to the point where you need to be a higher level before you can put more points into it, it'll do really, really good damage. Now that's great for bosses and great for elites, and if you come across like 2 mob packs that you need to kill, you can kill those pretty quickly. It can also help just clean up a little bit. The next one is Amazing Uppercut. Now Amazing Uppercut is amazing. Basically it'll be your main AoE damage dealing skill. As you can see here, rank 6 does 218 to 319 physical damage, which is really quite good. And if I go over the thing here, as you can see, it's a similar sort of AoE to your Spider Strike, but it has much more area. So basically, you might have seen me use that earlier. Basically, whenever you're up against a large pack of mobs, you just do 1 or 2 of those and it'll down the entire pack of mobs. Now basically what you want to do is you want to use whatever mobility skill you have at the time to jump between those large mob packs, drop down, do 2 uppercuts, finish off the vast majority of them, maybe clean up 1 mob if there's one left, and then continue on. Don't spend your time too much taking out single mobs, or trying to rush around to pick up all of the coins or whatever, anything like that. So the next skill that you'll be using a lot when leveling is Web Swing Assault. Now you only need to put 1 point into that, because additional points just increase the damage. Now this you won't be using as a damaging skill. It's handy sometimes because it can allow you to destroy terrain, like if you want to destroy some crates and things like that in a line. That can be handy, but overall it's not really a good skill to be damaging mobs with. It's too awkward to use. However, it's a fantastic mobility skill before you get web swinging. So basically, sink 1 point into Web Swing Assault and use that as much as possible. Now a really good thing about a Web Swing Assault is, just like web swinging here, you can use it to jump over certain things. It's not quite as good as web swinging for that. Some things you won't be able to jump over that web swinging can, but let's say you're on a higher piece of terrain and there's a fence and you want to jump down instead of going out down and around the stairs, you can use Web Swing Assault to just pop down there, saving a bit of time. Now if you're doing that all of the time and using that mobility skill as much as possible, as much as your spirit will allow you, you'll save a lot of time in general, and you'll be able to jump from mob pack to mob pack quicker. It's also great just for repositioning against larger packs, so you can do some upcuts and then jump to the other side of them, and then do some more upcuts and things like that. So a very good mobility skill, but again, only 1 point needed in that. The next one is Web Spray. Now Web Spray, just put 1 point in to begin with, because it'll slow your enemies and reduce the damage they deal, and it's an okay sort of defensive skill at that point in the game, but not particularly special. Web Shot is your ranged attack, and the only time you really ever need to use this is against bosses sometimes, but even then I prefer to duck in, use my Spider Strike, and then duck back out. So once you get to a high enough level to unlock web swinging, that's when you want to use your first retcon device or potion or whatever they're called, retcon device. Now, of course you can buy these through the microtransaction store, but they actually seem to drop fairly often, at least here in beta. In leveling up to level 12 where I am now, I've actually had 3 of these guys drop, so they aren't too rare. So by the time you get to this point where you need to use one, you should have already found one, you know, unless you're particularly unlucky on the RNG, in which case you can either wait and sort of tough it out, or you can buy one with some G if you want to support Gazillion or something like that. So once that happens, you respec out and don't put any points back into Web Swing Assault, because then you're going to be using web swinging, and it is a far superior mobility skill. Obviously it doesn't deal any damage, but you actually don't need this mobility skill to do any damage at all. Now I've put quite a few points into web swinging just because I had points to spare, but they only give you a marginal increase in move speed per point spent, so spend points in there if you have points to spend, but otherwise don't prioritize putting points into this over putting it into your main damage dealing skills like Amazing Uppercut, Spider Strike, and later Sticky Strike. So as you can see, web swinging can be used to move over terrain objects like this, even parts of the terrain on the map that are blacked out, even much larger than this. I've actually web swung over like huge blacked out bits of terrain. Certain things you can't go over, like for example, I can't go over the tree, so I have to go around certain things like that. And some obstacles, you know, will just stop you for some reason, like I don't know why the hot dog cart seems to stop me sometimes, but some things will be a little bit awkward, can be a little bit buggy at times, but overall gives you a huge boost to your move speed, which is exactly what you want. Allows you to move between mob packs, and you can use your uppercuts to down the mob packs. Now against bigger single targets, it's okay to use your single target ability, but against the groups you really want to use those amazing uppercuts. Okay, so the next skill pair, around that time, what you'll also have Sticky Strike available to you, or maybe slightly after, I believe. Then what you want to do is, you should have used your retcon device, start sinking points into Sticky Strike. You can leave points in Spider Strike because you get that extra damage synergy, but put as many points into Sticky Strike because that's actually going to be your main skill, which I need to switch back to there. Now the reason you want Sticky Strike is because you're going to be using it in combination with Web Spray. So whenever you spray enemies with your Web Spray, or whenever they're in this AoE, this slowing effect, your Sticky Strike will deal double damage. Now double damage is obviously huge. It'll allow you to down bosses much quicker, down tougher mobs, down elites, and just also down packs a bit better, bit faster, while also increasing your defensive capabilities. Now you can put some points into Web Spray, which increases the slowing effect and also reduces the damage dealt. The reduction to damage dealt is the main reason. It also increases the effect duration slightly, which is marginally helpful. You don't have to use it quite as often. You can get another punch or two in. Pretty good stuff. Now, any spare points you have beyond this, you can just sink into Spider Sense and then into Quick Reaction. Go into Spider Sense first because that's going to give you a dodge bonus, and then Quick Reaction will give you the buff on dodge. So it's just AoE down these packs here, and get some pretty fast experience from those guys. As you can see, Spider-Man can be quite powerful and can level quite efficiently. Now, some of the future skills to look out for is Stick Around. Now, I think once you get to the point to use Stick Around, I think it actually might be worthwhile using another retcon device and taking your points out of Web Spray and putting them into Stick Around. Basically, that immobilizes instead of slows, and targets take extra, recently hit by web power, take extra damage on a stun, which that's an interesting one. I haven't had a chance to play around with that obviously, but that sounds like it's going to increase your damage overall, so pretty good stuff. Now, Sticky Strike also works against immobilized enemies, so you're still going to get that synergy between these two particular skills there. The other thing is, as I said, I don't use the web shot very often, but once you get ballistic web shot, which also slows enemies, it actually might be a nice one to at least just put one point into, so you can slow your enemies just with a quick right click if you don't want to use web spray. Say you're against a single target and you just throw out one of those, and then you can do your melee attacks for that extra bonus damage. It'll help slow mobs a little bit better. And, you know, maybe it'll be helpful against bosses and things like that. Otherwise, just sink whatever points you don't want to spend into. You can't spend into these skills, sorry, because put all of your points primarily into your damage dealing skills, then web swinging, then probably web spray or Stick Around, and then into dodge, just for a bit of extra survivability. Anyway, that's about it for now. Hopefully you guys found this leveling guide helpful. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.